Hi there. I'm Dr. Beverly Wixon, and this is Happy Minds, Wealthy Lives Unlocking the Secret to Abundance. Did you know that your default setting is really thriving? It's not surviving. I just realized it's kind of dark that way, so I'm shifting. So many people believe they have to survive, they have to struggle, that they have to just, like I said, just barely survive. Anytime we get a new job, we're kind of in survival mode because we're learning everything. And so many of us live that way because we think we're supposed to, because society tells us that. Society, if you're watching the news, you know, they like to tell you about the economy, how bad it is. They're always telling you how bad it is. It doesn't matter that it's 10 times better than it was 5 years ago, or 10 years ago, or 40 years ago, or even a year ago. They still want to tell you how bad it is. If you watch the news, if you go back and listen to older newscasts, old debates, political debates, you'll see it's the same arguments over and over and over. For the last, well, let's see, we've had televised debates since the 60s, since 1960, Kennedy and Nixon. So for the last 64 years, we've seen the exact same arguments on television and the debates that we see now. And if you could go back and find the old radio ones, I would bet you almost the same thing, because that's what it's always about. Because it benefits somebody, I'm really not sure who, but it benefits somebody to keep you thinking that you are supposed to just struggle and survive. It benefits them for you to not know that thriving is your true default setting. And it is. Look at the world. Look at the world. There, that's odd. My ring camera just told me there was somebody there, and I didn't look because I could see the door from here. I can see part of the patio, but somebody did just actually walk up and I guess place something on my door, because I could see them when they left, when they were leaving. It was really weird. Anyway, it just threw me for a second. So look around. Look at the abundance of leaves on your trees. Unless you're in some place that's winter right now, but then you have to think about what it's like in the summer. Look at the abundance of sand on the beaches. Even when the beach seems to be washed away with a hurricane, there's still like this overwhelming amount of sand out there. Look at the abundance of fish in the ocean, the abundance of birds. I look at the abundance of squirrels every morning. I put out about 10 or 12 peanuts, and it's like a party. All of a sudden all these squirrels come, and they're very picky too. So they're very picky. But you know if God in his magnificent universe are providing everything for birds and the sparrow, the littlest sparrow, and for the fish and for the squirrels and for all the animals on the planet. And yes, we've had some go extinct over the years. We have some that are currently endangered. We have these things happening, but it always amazes me. It always amazes me. It always amazes me how things come back, because nature will always win. Always. And it is your nature to thrive. So as soon as you accept that, as soon as you start believing you're here to thrive, and you start getting rid of all those limiting beliefs and those limiting phrases in your head, it becomes so much easier to thrive and to see the infinite possibilities of abundance, the infinite wealth. And if other people can create that kind of wealth that you may look at and think nobody should have that amount, that's a limiting belief, because it's there for you too. Overnight, it's not going to happen overnight. It didn't happen overnight for them. But that doesn't mean that you can't have it. You can create that wealth. It's there. We have to be open to it. So, are you open to thriving? Are you ready to thrive? Then let's do this thing. Ask me what you can do. Tell me in the comments, how ready are you? On a scale of 1 to 10, how ready are you to start thriving? Because I want to see you thrive. Like I said, like I've told you before, my story, I was a high school teacher in one of the lowest paying counties, the lowest paying county, in one of the lowest paying states in the union. We were actually ranked 49th and 50th in a little weave while I was teaching. I recently heard they were 50th. The governor claims he's going to give teachers a raise, but it's really not up to him. Just saying, for those of you who think the governors do that, they don't do that. The school boards do that. Yes, it's based on money that comes in, but school boards are actually the ones who decide who gets the raises. So, sorry, I had to throw in a little bit of politics there. Anyway, I was, like I said, lowest paying district in one of the lowest paying states in the union. Yet, once I sat down and said something has to change, and I started working to make those changes, and it did take a little bit of effort, not a ton of effort. It's a whole lot easier than grading a ton of papers, trust me. I saw massive changes. Almost, immediately. We were paid once a month, and I never, ever had money left over. The joke was, hey, it's payday, and I'm broke, because just paid the bills. As soon as I started making changes, I had to think there what was the word I was looking for. As soon as I started making those changes, making shifts, and started diving into mindset work and money mindset work specifically, I had money left over at the end of the next payday. And by the way, I started my mindset work in January. I had been paid before the Christmas holidays, and I wasn't getting another paycheck until the end of January. 6 weeks. 6 weeks. Yet oddly, I had a few dollars left when it came to January 31st. That had never happened. Never. Especially in January. Yeah, my previous Januaries, I was cracking open my little jar of coins to go to Taco Bell and have something to eat because it was cheaper than buying food, or I was living on a loaf of bread with some peanut butter and jelly. I mean, that was it. And when I made those changes, like I said, I had money left over that first month, and then the next month it was more. And in less than 6 years, my financial guy told me it would take 10 or more. In less than 6 years, I 10x'd my savings. My savings, not including my paycheck, my savings, I 10x'd it without scrimping and pinching pennies, without getting a second job. I didn't have time for a second job. I was an English teacher. I was, doing a second job at home every night, grading papers and making lesson plans. I didn't have time for a second job without anybody else's financial support. I didn't have, a husband paying half the bills. I didn't have a roommate paying half the bills. I paid everything. And I did all of this. So if I could do this, earning as little money as I was earning, then so can you. You can do it on any salary. Any salary. You just have to know where you're starting from and where you're going. Kind of like a GPS, when you ask Siri or Maps or Waze to show you how to get someplace, you got to know where you're starting from and where you're going. The same thing with your financial growth. So if you're ready, comment yes in the comments below. And if you do, I'm not going to start bombarding you and begging you to work with me. I'm not going to do that. But I am working on kind of a new program, and I would love your input. So if you comment yes, then I'm going to DM you. I will admit that. I am going to DM you, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you if you would be open to answering a few questions to see if what I'm thinking about creating, because I'm thinking, and I'm still in the thinking processes, to ask you if what I'm thinking about creating is something you'd be interested in. And it actually even have a couple of different ways that this thing I'm thinking about can go. So that's why I would love to have your input. And if you're willing to do that, just comment yes below. If you're ready to change the way you think, comment yes. If you're willing to do answer a few questions for me. Comment yes, and I will say it's probably more than a few, more than a few. But I would love to have your input. So, other than that, I hope you have a great day. And please remember that you are meant to thrive. You are here to love, to laugh, to be happy, and that brings about thriving. So, be happy today as you plan for your future. Have a great day. Bye bye.